My name is Lorna. Uh, I'm 43. I first want to thank everybody about it. You guys to let me come, just come to and give me my experience, my upbringing. I was raised here, right in Decatur, a little bit in Bonnet, but I've also done 18 years in a Philadelphia maximum prison. Okay, and it's not a default of my mom. It's not a default of my dad. There's nothing they did. They've given me everything I've ever wanted, over and above. These are all decisions that I've made, saying that you can give your kids everything, and sometimes all it is just a little bit of time, maybe a little understanding. Because my mom and dad came young to this country, working, trying to make sure we had everything we wanted. So the time that one missed was the time where it was able for me to go to my friends and talk to my friends or go to these people that want good for me. And when I would go try to talk to my mom, it's my typical experience, even with my cousins and my friends at a Habesha. When you go to talk to your parents, says, I don't want to hear that. Oh, you're Habesha, we want to do that. Okay. Go sit down. Go over there. Don't do this. Don't do that, right? That's usually how the response is in our culture. We don't do that. That's not in our culture. Go sit down. Kofben. Go over there. Don't talk to them, right? It's by force. These kids are different. They don't understand what you're telling them. They don't understand force. They go to school every day. There's bullying, there's violence, there's drugs, there's everything. But if they can't come home and talk to you guys and share with you guys the fears that they have, the problems that they have, then who they got to go to? Their friends, right? And their friends don't mean them no good. Their friends don't care about what happens to them. So I wish I would have ran more to my mom. I wish I would have ran more to my dad. But because I'd always thought they're not going to understand me, they're not going to get it, they're not going to understand me, I ran in a direction that didn't help me and made it worse. So this is me. I don't have any kids. So I'm not telling you how to raise your kids. This I'm not telling you. Of course, every household has their own issues and their own problems and everything, but I'm only expressing to you guys my experience of how it felt like coming home into a Habesha home, but then going to school and being out in the world and being footage. Like, no matter what, you can go out, you can get pulled over by the police, you can do all that. They're not going to see, oh, you're Habesha. They don't see your culture. Your culture is inside. It's what you carry with you every day, right? But when you go to school, they're going to see black girls. They're going to see black boys. Okay. That's what they see. So when they hear that all day, 8 hours a day at school, when they see that if they play sports, that's what they're going to believe. That's what they watch on TV. That's what they look at on their tablets. Is all day is going to be video games, violence, music, violence. So if you're not taking the time to redirect the kids and tell them, hey, this is just a video game, or take a break from the video game. Let's go outside. Let's go to the park. Let me take you to go get a job. If they play football, don't just drop them off when they play football or they're cheerleading. Go support the kids. That's all they need. They don't need much. They don't need, yeah, they might want the new shoes every week. I know. They want new shoes. They want water lux. They want hair stuck and girl, everything. I know they want that. But the stuff that they're not going to tell you that they want is you to show up for them. That's what I've experienced growing up with all my friends that are Hop Show. When you go to, even growing up, when we used to go to Habesha church, all the parents are in one room where all the kids are in another, right? Running around. Running around. So then most kids do what they do at home in public, right? So if they're doing that in the public, then that's probably what's going on at home. I just told my sister yesterday, my niece was getting pickles or something out of a jar. And I said, you don't think she should use a spoon? She said, no, it's okay.
we're family. We do that. I said, yeah, Sarah, but what she does at home, she's going to do in public. She's going to go at somebody's house. So when she goes to her friend's house to go spend the night, she's going to start sticking her hand in the jar. And she thought about it. She said, yeah, I'm right. Maybe go get a spoon and go take it out. So when we say that we're a community, that doesn't just mean let's wait until somebody pass away. Or somebody go to jail. Or we come together when it's a wedding. Right? The community means like when I need help, ask for the help. Let's ask for the help. That's why Biniam is on his way, and he could say more what it's like to be a man or more here, because I can always speak from being a girl. But ask for the help. We're a very prideful community sometimes. We don't like to share what goes on in our house. No. Right? And that's okay. Some things are meant to stay at home. But if it's going to save you tears, money, stress, pain later, ask for help. Even if it's not in public, when you're asking people in public, ask for help. Abate has my phone number. He has a Biniam phone number. If they got something to do with your kids, we had such a good time with your kids last week, by the way. I really thank you guys for allowing them to come and be here with us last week. Me and Biniam had such a good time. I didn't know the response. Oh, they were very cool. They were. Okay, have a lot of feedback. Good. I'm glad. I didn't get to hear it. I just know that their eyes were pretty big. They had a lot of questions. Yeah, and that's okay. Yeah. We didn't want to tell them don't ask that question because that's what kids do. They ask questions. And if we don't answer them, even if your kid comes and says something like, "Hey, Dad, what is marijuana?" Instead of being mad at him and saying, "Hey, you don't say that. Where did you learn that from?" and get mad at him and take them on punishment, tell them what it is. Tell them what it is. If you educate them and tell them what it is, then they won't do it. But if we tell them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, guess what? Kids are going to do it. So we can't shelter them and put them in a box and put whatever fear you have onto your kids. Because if you do that, I'm telling you, my mom gave me everything I ever wanted. I've gone to college. I didn't want for nothing. We had food. We had everything. She did everything, even my dad. But at the end of the day, it was my decision. So I'm saying it to say, you can give your kids everything. But how they come back, like we see in the Bible when God said they had 100 sheep and one less, right? He left the 99 for the one. And he came back, right? That's I'm gonna say I'm the one. I'm back now. But I mean I'm ready yet. But I'm saying to say you're not when they turn 18, when they go to college or when they decide to grow up and be subdued, you're not gonna be able to help them. You're not gonna be there. You have to trust whatever decisions and things that you taught them at home is what they're gonna do when they go out. So hiding stuff from them and not telling them stuff is not gonna help them. So I remember a girl last week, I asked them, what is the hardest thing now as a teenager? What's the hardest thing? I know what it was for me, but I'm asking them because I'm not older now, so I don't know what kids are going through now. So I asked her. I asked all of them. And one girl said that it's hard for her to talk to her mom. I don't know whose kid it was, but she said it was hard to talk to her mom because her mom thinks she got an attitude all the time. And in my mind, I'm thinking at 14, you probably do. Yeah, I'm in what 14-year-old done it, right? But I told her, I said, listen, I'm 43, but mom still tells me what to do. Okay, it's still the same problem. It's never gonna go away. But instead of getting mad at your mom, how about maybe don't argue with her? Maybe write down in a notebook all what you're feeling, whatever the problem is, and then put on her bed. I said, just put it on her bed. Even if she doesn't read it right away, maybe by the time she goes back and read it later, she can see your words, and then maybe that's a way she can write back to you. So that way now she's not hearing your attitude, she's just listening to the words. And then you guys can work on the rest of it, the communication part. And I saw her eyes light up like, But these are things that I had to learn my way because nobody showed me. So I was telling her something that might help her. So I'm telling you guys the same thing. Sometimes if your kids might have attitude, if you can, if it's not too disrespectful, try to listen to what they're saying and not the attitude. Or maybe find a way to mediate with them and say, hey, let's just go outside. Let's have a different conversation. Because you're not going to get through to your daughter arguing back with her. You're not going to get through to your son arguing with him. So, and then with the moms, I would say, see, it's hard to say this. Are you teaching your kids not just what to have now, but are you teaching your kids besides habu and teaching you, they go to school and they teach them whatever education they teach them at school. But what are you teaching them at home? Right? Are you just yelling at them to make their bed and clean their room? Are we teaching these ladies how to be women when they grow up, how to be a friend when they grow up, how to be a wife when they grow up? Same with the men. Are you teaching your sons to be leaders in their community, leaders in their church, leaders at their job? Or are you just telling them a minute they're supposed to just go to work, come back and sit down? Maybe cut the grass on the weekends, wash the car. Seriously, because now what you're doing is, it's not what you're teaching them out of your mouth and showing them out of your hand, is what you do every day. It's a habit. You create habits. So if dad goes to work every day, comes home, takes a shower, lay down, that turns into a habit. So now that's what he's going to do when he gets a wife. He's going to do that same thing. The same thing with the mom. If she doesn't learn how to take care of herself, sometimes go get your hair done. Sometimes go get your nails done. Sometimes just taking care of yourself. When your daughter grows up, she's not going to know how to do that for herself. We want to teach our kids, just go to school, get an education, make sure you're making a lot of money, and make sure that you get married and have kids, a typical, dream. There's other aspects in life. Are your kids good people? Are they good people? If somebody's hurting, do they know how to help them? If somebody needs something to eat, are they going to feed them? If they make a mistake, do they know how to correct it and come back? It's not just being successful in life so the world can see them being successful or you can not worry about them. You can worry about them. You can worry about who they marry. Women too, you can worry about who your son's married. These are important things that you want to make sure that not only are their cards good, they're doing what they're supposed to successfully, and their mental health is okay. It's different maybe back home. I can't experience what it's like being back home. But it's stressful being here. You guys go to work every day. You see how stressful it is to go to work and take care of your bills and how take care of family. This is what they're gonna walk into. This is the world they're walking into. So prepare them more for than just what you know. That kind of makes sense. Prepare them for just. And when we say again, it's a village that raises our kids. You don't just trust that the school system is teaching them what they need to teach them. We don't just trust that everybody in the church is teaching them what they're supposed to teach them. The village is everybody. Their football coaches, their cheerleading coaches, their friends in the neighborhood. The people in church are a big factor. But I'm a part of the village. So I'm telling you, I've made the choices and I've made the mistakes that I wish I had a village like this growing up. I didn't have it because of my experience in going to a Habesha church when I was younger. We got kicked out. Well, we got kicked out. Some politics that had nothing to do with being kids. We were 13 years old, and whatever politics was, they told us me and my sisters could come inside the classroom. That's my experience in the Habesha church. So guess what I did? We went to French church. It was great. We still go there to this day. We see beautiful church. But still, it was nice to know that I can come to my own place and be embraced, who knows? That could have been the community that saved me. But ultimately, you can't put it on fault to nobody. I'm telling you guys this because you guys are going to be the community. If you see somebody's kid doing something, correct them. I hear stories my mom tell me all the time. When you're back home, if somebody's kid is doing something, they get a spanking just like your own kids. And they turn around and they get fed and they eat and they take a bath at somebody else's house and they come home and go to bed. It's safe there. Okay, let's make it safe here. If your kid can't talk to you, make her feel safe enough where she can go talk to her. If she can't feel safe talking, if he can't feel safe talking to you or his mom, then use somebody in the church where they feel comfortable talking to. So we don't have a problem and an issue. I don't want none of your case to be 18 years in prison. I don't know what your expectations or what you might think is what you see on the movies. That's not real. It's worse than that. Especially in the women's. It's bad in the women's. It's just as worse than the men. Every month there's people dying. It's bad. And then we have, of course, we have the ones that don't go to prison. They're on drugs. How do we bring them back from that? How do we prevent them from doing that? We don't hide it from them. We don't tell them that's gay guy. We don't do that. Let's talk to them about it. Let's have a class. We have a class for financial literacy. Let's have a drug awareness class where we're telling them this. Let's have a sexual class where we're telling them about this. So our kids aren't going into the community and getting something because they're not being taught at home or they're not being taught at school. So they're not coming home at 17 years old pregnant or strung out on drugs or, God forbid, going down to prison. Oh, don't forbid, death. Right? What are some of your fears for your kids? What do you fear? What is the worst fear that you fear for your kids?
All the things you just said.
All those things. But what are you doing as a mother? What are you doing as a mother?
You communicate. I talk to them about every single thing you just said. I talk to them. I tell them what could happen.
And then a boy could be arrested. We never know.
We don't know back home. Never that. Yeah, so I talk to them about this. It's about the drugs, says
Yeah, we can't pretend like it's not here. It's here. So I mean, it's not. It might not be what you guys mind talking about, everything. It's difficult to talk to your kids about some stuff. But if you don't talk to them, somebody else is going to talk to them. And when the wrong person talks to them, they're going down a hole you probably can't bring them back from. Fathers with your sons, separate time. Fathers with your daughters, separate time. Teach them stuff because you're going to be her first image. You're going to be her first image of a man. So whatever standard you put, that means her husband has got to be that same thing. The same thing with the mother, though. Your sons are watching you. You are their first love. So guess what? Who they meet after that has got to be just like my mom. So what kind of mom are you be? What kind of dad are you be? Because if you just come home and just do the bare minimum, she's going to find a man that does the bare minimum. I know you want more for your daughter. I know you want her to be successful. I know you want her to find somebody who's going to love her, take care of her, and be all those things. So guess what? It has to start at home first. You have to give her that first. You mothers have to give that to your sons first. If not, they're going to find the first thing that loves them, the first thing that shows them attention, and the first thing that does is always the worst one. A lot of our parents and our parents' parents, they were arranged. They were arranged, right? It was never, I just went on a date and met somebody. It was just you and y'all together. You and y'all together, right? Yeah. Okay, so now that's not what these kids are doing. These kids are dating. These kids are talking about stuff like that at school. They may not pick who you want them to pick. So, do you want them to hide it from you? Or do you want them to say, hey, I like this boy, or Dad, I like this girl. And it's a young, you're not going to do that now. No, okay, come on. God, we got to have this conversation. Let's have the conversation. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, they're going to have it with somebody else.
And whoever they talk to after that, their intentions are not going to be coming from a good place like your intentions are. Even if you say, hey, let's wait until you're this age. I'm not telling you no. Let's just wait until you're this age. If you want to wear makeup, let's just wait until this age. You can do this. Just give them limits, give them boundaries. But don't just tell them no, because what they're doing is when they go to school, they're going to do it. They're going to sneak and do it. And when they sneak and do it, what happens is that something bad happens. We can't expect our kids to listen to us if we're not listening to them. I can't tell my niece, just do what I tell you and go sit down. And if I don't listen to her say, I can't sit down because my leg hurts. If I'm just forcing her to go sit down, I can't, she's not going to listen to me. And then I'm not going to listen to her. We grow up and we have that relationship. Do you guys have questions for me before I keep, because I can keep talking all day. Do you have any issues or because I can come up with solutions, but I can't come up with solutions if I don't know some of the proper, because of how it. So I know a lot of us don't like to tell what goes on at home, but even if it's saying something like being fearful, he gives a lot of ideas of financial literacy. I heard him talk about it last week about investing $200. He came up with a great idea with his son. He'll invest it for his son. He'll invest the $200 for his son, and they'll do it together. But then when he makes the money back, he's going to pay him back. The first thing his son said, I pay him back? And what that's teaching them, hey, when you borrow something, you have to give it back, right? But at the same time, it's also saying I'm investing in my son. So invest in your kids, whether it's financially, you save money for them to go to college, right? You want them to go to college. Time is money. It's the same concept. Invest in them emotionally. Girls' day out, mother-daughter days. Go to the spa, get your toes done or something. That's time you guys are bonding together. The dads, you guys can take your sons to a football game, baseball game. I've heard a lot of kids in here saying I want to be an actress. I want to be a doctor. One boy said he wanted to be a football player. Invest in what it is they want. Everybody's not going to be a doctor. Let's be honest. Everybody's kids is not going to be a doctor. It's not possible. You know your kids. You know what they're capable of or what they're not capable of. You know some of your kids are not doctors. Some of them are not. Some of them are not lawyers. Some of them might be businessmen. Some might be good footballmen. Some might be good soccer players. Some might be good actresses. We don't just shut the door and just turn our back on our kids because they're not doctors. So that we can tell our friends that our kids are doctors? No, that's stressful for a kid already here. That's stressful for them already, trying to figure out how to be here in the world and growing up. And then on top of that, the pressure of coming home and mom and dad are telling me, I have to go to college because I have to be a doctor. That's stressful. Let your kids find their way. You guide them. Let them find their way, but you guide them. If you see them going a little left, let's bring them back a little bit and say, yeah, you're going a little too far. Now come back this way. Yes.
People, do you kind of relate to today's technology, what you guys said, because the quality is current, every day is changing, irritate less up, vegan, agree.
Yes. Well, when I was 14, there's no such thing as cell phones. Even before I got locked up in 2008, we had no cell phones, the flip, Nokia phones. By the time I got out, everything was different. My nephew is 5 years old. He knows how to turn my phone on, go to YouTube. He knows how to buy stuff on Amazon. If my sister doesn't put a child lock on it, they'll watch everything. Yeah. Mom was just telling me yesterday, there are kids on YouTube teaching other kids
how to shoot.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So this is you must have saw the video. Yeah, see? I told you. There are kids teaching other kids how to shoot. And a kid actually went and shot somebody.
Oh my.
So I'm saying that this is what they have access to. Everything. This thing, not anybody can upload a video. Anybody can upload video. And I know that these kids are watching it because the first time I ever came here, I was waiting before I came in here. And I was talking to somebody's child, 10 years old, a boy. And he was getting mad because his sister was getting on his nerves. I said, listen, she's going to get on your nerves for the rest of your life, okay? You're going to do it for the rest of her life. And I said, but if somebody bothers her, what are you going to, you're going to protect your sister, right? You're not going to let anybody, yeah, I'm going to get a Glock.
Oh boy.
10 years old now. And if you don't know what a Glock is, then that's a gun. Shoot. 10. So don't think that it can't happen in your house. Don't think it can't be your kids. Don't think that they don't know. They know.
Oh.
So if you don't talk to them and for them to feel safe enough to come talk to you, then those tablets, the TV, the music, the internet is going to raise your kids. It's going to raise your kids. Their phones, everything is going to raise your kids. And it's hard to say if you let that do that, then you can't be mad at whatever the outcome is.
Yep.
You can't be mad.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, could you think the school is supposed to teach them? Or you think when they come to church, you have to do work at home too. You'd have to do work at home. Because if not, that's what's going to teach them. And then you can't be mad that whatever happens down the road is the outcome. Sorry. Anything else?
Yes, I have a question for you, Donna. Earlier, you were saying that sometimes when we have conversation with our kids, be it related to drugs, sexual assault, whatever it is, rather than us try to explain to them, we most of the time try to put it away.
Hi.
Like, so balko, I feel like they bahalen you know. I would rather say no than bring them, sit down and have a conversation with them. Most of the time I feel the issue is I myself don't know enough. So say for example, my son asks me about, hey dad, what do you think if I smoke marijuana? I don't even know what the marijuana was like. And then come to find out, marijuana is like one of the 100 type of drugs.
Absolutely. The most legal, most studies.
Exactly. Oh, dad, I want to use this game on Roblox. Come to find out, every single word, every single sentence that is in the Roblox game, number one, I don't even understand. I don't even think it is English anymore.
Oh, and all those games, those Roblox games and stuff, just understand that there are other kids and grown adults who chat. They chat. I didn't know this until my nephew plays Roblox. And these are grown men and women that play games with little kids. So they chat. And sometimes a lot of those predators do that on purpose to get in those rooms, to be with those kids because they know it's a kid game. So you have to be mindful of that.
So I can need to try Blue One Day because especially last year, there was one trending things in like 6, 7.
This, yeah.
And then I came to find out like it's not something that's keeps appropriate, right? From now. Then I started saying or telling my kids like, I don't want to hear that in the house. But then I don't even know what that was. Then one day, I literally brought all my kids, let them sit down. I told them, turn on the music.
Yeah.
All of them said no, because the moment I start listening to the lyrics, I would be offended or da, right? Then we turned on the music. Trust me, not understand one single word in it because it was not English for me.
Yeah. They know every word.
But when I asked them what he was saying, they don't even want to tell me what he was saying because for them, every single word in that was like sort of a curse word.
Yeah.
And they said that you don't even want to know what he's saying. Then I said, okay, then why are you listening to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that's when we came down, like, even like, okay, from each and every come that in the house, I want Roblox gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If not, this is what you guys are listening to. This is what you are watching. Right? I'm not against you playing on Roblox, but every time that you guys are turning on the Roblox, the sentences, the lyrics, the words that you guys are hearing to or that you're exposed to is something what is not getting you up.
Yeah. Isn't
I
it?
got here it feel like downloading as a game that you guys go as long as it's safe about it.
Yeah.
So my question to you was, how can we learn about beat about drugs, beat about sexual assault, like what she was saying, like, oh, I didn't knew that even boys get assaulted or raped, right?
Absolutely.
We didn't mean, but they come here. Thank you. This is even such a thing.
Yeah.
Now, how do we know so that to teach our kids about it?
You're gonna have to learn the same way the kids are learning. You're gonna have to do the same thing that they're doing. You're gonna have to go on YouTube and educate yourself so that you're able, because your community, your job, you're not gonna just go to your coworker at work and say, hey, what is weed? So you're gonna have to educate yourself and go to YouTube and Google it and teach yourself so that you can teach them. Because weed is the bottom of the worst, the easiest drug you can worry about. There's so much worse days now than weed. If they're just, God forbid, smoking weed, that's a good thing. Because there's a lot other ones that are worse.
Yeah.
That they can't come back from. So you're going to have to Google, YouTube, and teach yourself enough so that you can have the conversation. And if you think the videos and stuff that you're watching are kids appropriate, or maybe even watch a video together where you can put knowledge or something, teaching, like having soft conversation with my kid about marijuana. That could be the subject, right? And if you watch it and it seems like it's something that's kid appropriate, then you guys can watch it together. And when you watch it together, whatever questions he or she has, y'all can have it together. Instead of just saying, hey, sit down and watch this. Or if you want to do it together for the first time, like, hey, listen, I don't know nothing about weed. Let's figure it out together. Or the mothers with their daughters, it comes to like the different kind of STDs that they might need to know about and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that you guys didn't have to worry about growing up that these kids have to worry about. There's a lot of it.
Well, there's a safeguard on the cures. For students in schools, they also having like at home already would say, well, signed up you.
Okay. Well, then there's that too.
Yeah. See,
Prevent them. Well, then there's that. You can safeguard some of the computer, and then the kids are gonna find a way around it. They're gonna find a way around it, because if you send by the computer and a tablet, they got their phones, right? I don't know if you could do that on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can't do it on the phone, I mean, school. They're gonna talk about it in school. Everybody, how you raise your kids are not gonna mean how other people are raising their kids too. So when they have to go to school, you have to be mindful, because your kids are clean and fed and taken care of and don't have anything, doesn't mean that kid that's sitting next to them doesn't. You don't know what that kid is exposed to. You don't know what he has to deal with every day. So when they come to school and mix with your kids, what do I say? There's always one bad apple that ruined the whole bunch, right? Just one. So if you got a classroom that's 5 of them, the likelihood of your kids catching whatever's coming, they're gonna pick it out. Talk with me. I didn't know you were here. Yeah, this is Biniam. Biniam. Next, you guys see, you could take this. I'm gonna listen this time. And it's to guys. He got up at work just to cook it. Thank you. I go get that. And he was here last week and talked to your kids for the first time. The first time Abate was saying, can I bring Biniam? And he said, yes. You couldn't wait to come. And I just wasn't thinking.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank
So am I. What you heard, so I want to hear your parts.
Everybody.
Hi.
My name is Biniam. I was born and raised in Alabama.
I'm seguro. Not that you're.
Bini Antobera. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was born to write yeah, about them. My mom and dad, Howie and Electrical, two good people, right? Some had struggles for things. You know, my father he struggled a little bit, but my mother, if you guys know her, she's an angel. You know, Delmar Christian, grew up taking us to church, taught us a lot of things, spent time with us as much as you could. For me, and I'll just give you a little good background for me.
Sure.
Where things kind of went wrong for us is when they got divorced. So when they got divorced, initially I thought I was happy, right? I don't have to worry about my father watching over me no more, right? And he was very abusive physically, you know. So whenever you got Nicolo, he
All right. Huh.
and so it was initially it was a relief, but when I look back now, that's when I went left, you know. That's when I started just in the streets more. That's when I started getting exposed to a lot of other people, a lot of other things. So when we grew up in Orland Avenue, Buford Highway, it wasn't the nicest part of town. So, we saw everything. We saw prostitution, we saw drug dealers, we saw people using drugs. That was normal. To walk by them, to even speak to them, know their brothers and sisters, their younger ones, that was normal. It wasn't different. Uh, my mother, being that she had 3 kids, she had to work. So when she had to work, what happened is now I got a lot of time to do what I wanted to do. Now I could stay outside more. Now I could see more out in the streets what's going on and get exposed to it at a younger age. So, I did. And the people that I followed, uh, you know, it wasn't just the best of people. So I did 14 years in prison. I came home last July. I got locked up for a shooting. That's what I did. That's my responsibility. I was 23. No. So when I was 23 when I caught the charge, I was 25 when I went to prison. Uh, so I don't blame that on anybody, right? You gotta accept responsibility. That's my biggest thing, right? Um, yeah, I was exposed. Yeah, I saw things. Yeah, it was normal to me, but hindsight, it's not normal. Uh, the guy that I looked up to me, his name is Paris. I looked up to this guy. He was dangerous. He had money. He had what I thought a lot of boys liked, right? And when I ran into him, in prison. He was locked up for murder.
Oh boy.
When I saw him, I originally thinking, no wonder I ended up in prison. This is who I looked up to. It made sense, complete sense to me. He didn't recognize me, but as soon as I saw him, I recognized it. Good. So, when I ran into him, I saw him. It was like God speaking to me. That's how I took it. Showing me like this is what you looked up to. No wonder why you ended up in this place, right? Instantly, I remember thinking, I gotta look at better examples. But in prison, there wasn't too many better examples to look at, right? So that's where the church came in for me. There's a guy named Baba Solomon. Baba Solomon, from the beginning to the end, he was there for me and my family. He sent me my first Bible. He came to visit me on a regular basis, initially like every month. And then, as time got on, every couple of months, but it was more than even my whole family did. But that showed me was God's love. I knew he was a representation of the church. He would go to church. He would be like, hey, why y'all not writing Biniam? Why aren't y'all checking on him? Why aren't y'all calling his mother to see how he's doing? Right? He's our son. He's our child. He's in our community. And people would say, excuses. So he would buy 30, 40 cars, put the stamp on them, put my address, and give it to every single one of you. Now you have no excuse, right? So in the Bible, there's a part where Jesus said, he said, thank you for visiting me when I was in prison, right? When I was widowed, when I was orphaned, And they said, Jesus, when did we visit you when you were in prison? And he said, when you visited mine, when you did it for them, you did it
From me.
right. And that's what he stood on. So to me, this is the guy I started to want to be like now. I say he got a beautiful family. Him and his wife are doing good. His kids are doing good. Now I got my mindset. This is the guy right here. This is what I want to represent. So that's a little bit of my background. Unfortunately, me growing up the way I did is nothing compared to what the kids are experiencing now. The internet alone, the cell phones alone, the access to information alone is disturbing. Yeah, there's a lot of good things you can find, but there's a lot of bad things also. Like she mentioned with the Roblox, there's a lot of predators preying on access to kids as well. And a lot of the kids, they don't want to speak up because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to say, hey, you know, our family member did this, our family member did that, because usually it's someone closer to you guys. And I can tell you this from experience. In prison, most of the sexual predators took advantage of the people in their families. It wasn't hardly ever a stranger. That happened. But the majority were the people closest to you, people you never thought, people that if your child said, hey, this is what's going on, you wouldn't believe them. But this is what I saw. This is the people I slept with, right? But the thing is, communication matters. If your child feels like they cannot speak to you, you're in trouble. Communication rule the nation. That's the biggest thing. A lot of you guys were raised back home, born back home, right? And the mentality is still back home. But we're in America, where the mentality is completely different. Some parents are like friends with their kids, right? Not the way you guys were raised. But these kids are spending 6, 7, 8 hours at school, a couple hours online, a couple hours playing games. They're being exposed. The reason why communication is key is, right or wrong, they have to be able to come to you and talk to you and tell them, hey, I feel this, or I heard this, and not get in trouble. It doesn't mean you don't discipline them, but they have to be able to know that I can talk to my mother, I can talk to my father. If they don't know that, they're going to go talk to somebody else. They're going to go look up to somebody else, right? And that's what I did. And so me and them, the gap between us is big, right? But being raised here, that's the perspective that I'm talking to you guys from, right? Not the perspective of somebody that was raised back home, right? So it's about a point of view. So a lot of times when I communicate with kids, because in prison, you know, we would have 17, 18-year-old kids with us. They're kids to me. And I would take them under my wing, you know. A lot of times they remind me of my brothers and all the kids in the community. And I always look at the good. The thing that established communication the most was spending time with them. If you don't spend time with them, the communication is going to fall off. But not only just communication, trust. So trust is a big thing too. If they don't trust you, they won't providing. They won't tell you what's really on their mind, right? So they have to be able to communicate. They have to be able to trust you. You have to also keep an open mind, right? And this is the part where you have to understand, okay, let me take myself out of my shoes and let me put myself in their shoes, right? As best as you can. Because right now, when I look at you, I can tell you what's on your plate better than you can tell me, right? And vice versa. So the point of view matters. And sometimes you might feel like as a parent, hey, listen, that's it. It's this way or the highway. But that's not the way it is. That's not reality, right? Discipline, you know, that writes about you, right? But you have to also listen. If you listen to respond instead of listening to understand, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to learn from you. So if you don't listen to them, it's going to be hard for them to listen to you guys, right? So even if it makes you feel anxious, or even if it makes you feel, you know, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, it's better for you to be uncomfortable with them right then instead of getting a phone call from a county jail and, hey, mama, daddy, I'm locked up. Because that's the worst thing a parent can hear. Well, not the worst. Death is the worst, right? But this is close to it. So don't wait until something happens for these kids to be able to, speak to you, to be able to, come to you. Because a lot of times with me, with my parents, I tried communication. Well, you know what the favorite thing is to say? When I was your age, right? Okay, when you were my age, you were back home in the village. You were using a donkey to go get water. Just speak the truth. You were on the back, farming. And when that kid time, okay, how this, you were doing that, right? So that's not how we were raised.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that. We don't know sacrificing at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old to go get it. It's normal to keep go get water, right? 4 kilometers away. I didn't, I went back home. It's 13. I say 2.5 years.
Wow.
So I experienced that a little bit. That wasn't the same as me being raised here at America, especially in Atlanta. So the way you guys see things and the way they see things are always going to be different, even if they're good kids, right? Even if they're kids who follow directions, even if they're kids who, they make you proud, they're still going to see things differently than you guys see them, right? But I'm gonna tell you something as from a son's perspective. You always want to make your parents happy, right? Rarely when you see a kid actually want to bring problems to their family, it's because they're hurt, right?
Say it one more time.
So when a child, usually your child wants to make you happy. It's natural for them to want to make their father and their mother happy, right? When they don't, when they do the opposite, something's wrong. They're hurt. Something is happening or something that happened. So you have to come here. In the Bible, it say love never fails. That's the truth. Now, it's the second greatest commandment, love thy neighbor, right? They don't give you stipulation. If they're black or white, they're Ethiopian or Eritrean, it don't say none of that. It don't say rich or poor, Republican, Democrat. It doesn't say any of that, right? So that's it in general. It's supposed to be automatic for your own blood, right? So love is an action word. Love is not just, I love you. You should know that. They have to feel it. They have to experience it. It's not always to hug them, to kiss them. It's to understand them. It's to try. Even if you don't, just to try is a big deal for them, right? So communication, I can't tell you how big that is, because they can come home and say that our teacher said this. And you can say, or mommy, they can say mommy, right? You can say, okay, let's talk about that. You have to have these discussions, If they're 12, 13, 14, 15, you have to be ready for discussions in regards to like sex and drugs as well, because it's there, it's out there. You can be in the nicest neighborhood. When we moved to Kennesaw, Georgia, Cobb County, that's one of the nicest areas in Cobb County. There was more drugs available than when I was staying in Atlanta. In Atlanta, you had weed, you had crack, cocaine, you had the basic stuff. In Kennesaw, they had drugs I never even heard of, pharmaceutical drugs. Way before there was an opioid pandemic, they were already exposed to that. Xanax, antidepressant drugs, Percocets, right? Pharmaceutical grade stuff. 2000, 2005, I knew about those things, right? So heroin, that was another one. And these are the worst drugs. Methamphetamines. This was readily available in high school. So when you think, hey, we're in Gwinnett, or hey, we're in this nice neighborhood that is better, that's not always the case. Sometimes it's in their mommy and daddy's, cabinet, right? And you think just because it's in a bottle, it's not much. It's not a big deal, but it is. So just be aware, talk to them. Dinners are important, even if it's once or twice a week. Eat together, sit together, talk together, right? Communicate, make it normal, establish it. It becomes a pattern. Once it becomes a pattern, that's less likely for a lot of other things to happen, right? Another big thing for me growing up, I wanted to play sports. 80+% of kids that grow up playing sports, they learn organization, they learn selflessness, because usually it's a team sport. So you work together, you learn how to work together with other people. They learn how to take care of their bodies. They learn how to sacrifice and go work out when they need to. They learn how to, it's discipline. It's being instilled in them for a greater good, right? Kids, 80+% that grow up doing that don't go to jail, don't go to prison, or playing organized sports. I used to beg my mom, please, let me play football. Let me play basketball. She couldn't afford it, you know? So one of my first visits, she said it to me. She said, if I know what I know now, I would have found a way to pay for you to play sports back in the days. And I don't blame her, but that's a mother's love, right? And I always think, what could I have done? Maybe I could have done this. I could have done that. But that's not, always the case. But just, I'd encourage you guys, communicate, take them out, go to the park, go to the library, go to eat, go get ice cream, spend time with them, talk to them, put the phones away, leave the phones in the car. Nobody's got phones, right? Because here are distractions too. But you also have to establish rules too. These kids are young, and I see kids 2-3 years old, iPads and phones. And to be honest, when I came home, I had my little cousin show me how to use the phone. Well, because when I left, they didn't have the phones like they do now. So, limit it. No, don't let them just have it all day. Set a schedule for them, routine. When kids have a routine, they stick with it. So don't just, hey, just, did you do your homework? Yes. Okay. Well, no. Need a bedtime, need a dinner time, okay, you finished your homework, you got this much time to enjoy, Xbox or whatever it is you're playing. But it has to be established. But what you're teaching them is routine habits, right? But in the end, you gotta love them, even when it's hard to, right? Even when they're not giving you any reason to show them extra love, you have to. And so one day, me and my sister, we were leaving a friend's house. They were white, and their parents hugging them, kissing them when they were leaving. And me and my sister, we looked at each other. So I asked her later on in us, what do you think when you look that way? She said, "Now, why mama doesn't do that to us?" Aww. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing. Aww. So we went home, we asked my mother, and my mother was sad. And she said, hey, did I have to tell you I love you for you to know I love you? Everything I sacrificed for you guys? When they got divorced, we never seen another man. Nobody ever called the house another man. It was all about her raising her kids. That was it. She didn't have no life. If she went to a party, Habesha party, we went to the Habesha party. But there was never nothing like my mom went somewhere by herself or did something by herself. If we ordered pizza, she would not eat a slice. She would eat the crust, the part we didn't eat. Because she knew it was little things like that that we like. But I read a book called 5 Love Languages. And I encourage every parent to read this book, right? And the book is basically saying people feel and receive love 5 different ways. When I read that book, one of the languages was what they call acts of service, right? And this kind of reminded me of Jesus, But when I read what acts of service meant was some people's love is shown by acts of service. Action. They're sacrificing for you. They're doing things for you. It's kind of out of their way. So when I saw that, I realized that's my mother's love language. That's how she showed love to us. That's why she said, didn't I show you? Didn't I do that? Right? So I started to learn others. Some people is receiving gifts. Some people are words of affirmation. Words of affirmation, to tell you my little Mexican way. That means positive words, speaking good into, not just your child, but just in period, right? Well, I'm gonna say, come here, right? Just building a love, right? Talking to them, telling them that they're smart, telling them that they're strong, telling them that, they can do whatever they want to do, right? Just because a lot of kids, when they grow up, they're not scared of anything. You could put a baby with 5 snakes right there, and the baby's gonna try to play with the snakes. We teach them fear.
Yeah.
Everybody else teaches them how to be afraid. But naturally, they're not afraid. So you have to be conscious of what we're teaching them. Sometimes it's not what you're saying, it's what you're doing. If you're mean, more than likely they're gonna be mean back. You know, they're gonna have that same attitude. But the difference is you guys are wrong. You have experience, you experience the world, they haven't. So when they make bad judgment calls, they're children. They don't have experience. They don't know any better a lot of times. So it's what you do is how you handle that when that happens. But if the first thing you want to do is take off the belt and, beat them to, they can't even feel it anymore, guess what? I got my father, he he was not a bad person. I remember when I met my grandfather, his dad, he apologized to me. His name was Gaba Animika. He said, Piniam, come here. He said it. I'm sorry. Now, all of this is in Subliminal, right? And I said, for what? He said, your dad, he beat you. I said, yeah. He said, that's my fault.
Yeah.
I said, how?
Smart baby.
He said,
Yeah.
at 16 years old, your father, he went to go fight in the war instead of stay home with me. At the end. He said, that's where he learned it from. I didn't understand then. But it's a lot of things people taught me and said to me when I was younger that when I was in prison, it came back to me. Even when I was back home 2.5 years, my grandfather on my mom's side, cashew, right? When I go to their village, we sit at the church. A lot of things he said, a lot of things my grandmother said, that came back to me. And to me, that was a blessing from God, right? The seed was planted. It just didn't get watered until later on. Some of my friends, they're not there anymore. How they from, right? God bless their souls. I used to always think, at least I still have a chance. But that hope came from God. It came from Baba Solomon instilling in me God's love. It came from those strangers who wrote me, who I don't know who they are, checking on me. I know it wasn't because of them. It was God using them. So God can use you guys too for kids, right? But it starts when they're young. Once they hit, if you know anything about psychology, 8 or 9, whatever you have right there, that's what you're going to have that's pretty much what you got. So at their youngest, you have to invest time. The things that they do have to come from you, the father and the mother, the brother, the sister, the influence. Online, they got influences, right? That catches their attention. You have to figure out what catches these kids' attention. What do they like? You have to learn about it. You have to Google it. Now you guys can use the internet too. It's called AI. You can literally research. If you heard something and you don't know, you can find out about it. You just have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to, hey, show me how to use ChatGPT. These same kids will show you. And they will show you well how to do it. But you have to try. But if you don't put effort, then how do you expect anything to pay off? So back in the days, a lot of Habesha parents, they would work 10, 12, 16 hours, especially taxi drivers. Well, the money, was it worth it? And you see your child end up at the place you don't want to see them at? Right? The money's never worth it. But we want to carry back home a lot. We want to help back home a lot. First, you have to help your own home. You cannot help anybody else until you help your own home. Yourself, And then everybody, my dad used to always tell me, first you help yourself, then you help us, your parents, your siblings, your cousins, the community. Other half is layers to it, right? Same thing. You have to prioritize what's more important, money or time with the kids, right? So if you don't spend time with them, you won't have influence on them. Your opinion won't matter as much as, their friend who they spend 4 or 5 hours with, and they can influence them. Hey, smoke this joint, hit this joint a little bit. That's how I started. Older friends. All my friends were always older. I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to smoke, but I didn't want to be the oddball out. I didn't want to be the one guy that wasn't doing it. So I did it. And next thing you know, I liked it. Now I'm asking them. And when I come home the first time, I never forget. My mom fried. She saw my face. And she told me, she said, "You look like Shaitan." And she started crying because my eyes were so red. And I laughed because I was high. I didn't understand. To me, it wasn't that legal to do. But to her, she see me take a big step. I went from just, little issues to now I'm all the way over here before she even knew it. So time, communication, love, these are big things. Listen to them. When they speak, listen to understand what they're saying. Read in between the lines too. The more you listen, the more you'll start to pick up stuff. It's just like at work. When you're working with somebody, you can say, they don't have to say nothing. They can just, and you can know, oh, this person's mad, right? Same thing with the kids when they're speaking to you. The more you spend time with them, the more you'll pick up, okay, something's wrong. Sometimes you might have to pull one aside by themselves. You might have to say, hey, I noticed earlier this. When children know you notice something, that makes them feel good. They know you care. They know you love them, right? So pay attention, not just with your eyes, with your ears too, but even your feeling. The spirit, the discernment, you have to utilize that, right? If you feel like something is off, you hug them and they're tense. Why is my little girl tense? Why is my little boy tense? What's going on? Come on, let's go walk and talk. Do something they like. Go get some iceberg. Communication is big, y'all. That's the big. A lot of things I tried to tell my parents, and they were too busy to listen because they were thinking about providing. They was making sure we had a roof and something to eat, clothes, but they were missing what I was trying to tell them. A lot of times when you look back, you'll understand I could have done this better. Hindsight is always 20/20, right? But sometimes get out of your comfort zone. You may be tired. You worked all day, right? But guess what? The outcome in these kids' future was going to depend on the investment. The investment isn't just providing. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to put a roof over their head. You guys had these kids, right? But you're also expected to listen to them, to hear them, to love them, to teach them. My 7th grade teacher, her name is Miss Borshadi. I wasn't doing no drugs at the time. I just would play around in the classroom a lot. She told me in 7th grade I was going to Sequoia Middle School in Dorpure. She told me, you're going to go to prison. African teacher. It stunned me. What did they say though? She told, what grade they have said that? So just I was
He was trouble double.
all right, this is right after my parents' divorce. So like this in a year. So, I was hacking out with little. But I wasn't using drugs. I wasn't doing anything illegal in school. I was just a class cop. It's very. When she told me, I was mad, but I never thought about it again. The day that they said guilty, she came back to me.
All right.
What did this lady see that she said that? Right? But look at the effect. You can speak positive to these kids too. Yeah. She could have easily been like, damn, what's wrong? Why are you acting like this? Right? She could have. And I'm not blaming her. It's not her responsibility. But these teachers play a bigger part in the guys' kids' lives than you realize. So when they have these PTA meetings, you need to go and meet them. You need to make sure, that they're not, a different way of lifestyle that you guys agree with, right? You have to know them personally. And when the teacher knows the parents personally, they're gonna give your child more attention. They're gonna check on you more. So these are the people that are probably spending more time with your child than you are. So why wouldn't you communicate with that? Sometimes they can warn you, hey, he's going with her, or he's going with him, or she's going with him, and that child is like this. That child's situation is like this. They will tell you. But that's the time. You have to take time. After you work 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, you have to spend another 2 hours in the PTA meeting. You have to get to know them. Not just their teachers. It's getting at the end of the year, who's going to be the teachers for the next year. Establish that. But so, that's all I got for you guys. If you don't have any questions, anything, I'll answer. But if not, at the end of the day, the reason I did this is because I understand from experience what kids need. And yeah, things have changed. They're exposed to a lot more. So you can't just tell them something. They will check it out. They will look it up. They will, let me see if daddy or mommy is right or wrong. Right? You're smarter. Yeah. A 10-year-old now versus a 10-year-old my age, 2 different kids. Right? They know a lot more. So he's suit up. The armored guy, at chess play, everything. You got to suit up. This is warfare, right? And you're fighting for your kids. So when you fight for your kid could be the difference in how his kid turns out. So it's bigger than just your home. It's the community. And so that's why I came around last week. I care about the community, and I know what a little impact can do. So, if we all contribute a little bit more, it's a lesser load for everybody to carry, right? If we got 100 pounds and it's just me carrying that, I'm gonna get worn out pretty soon. But if everybody gives just a little bit more, then the success and then it's not gonna be as big as a birdie, right? But it's important. One thing I want to say too, and this is something I'm going to start probably within the next year. I'm going to start sponsoring kids. And with that, what I mean is, especially kids that come from single family households, their mothers, I understand that their mother or their father, whoever it is, they can't afford to invest in that, right? That little bit of money is nothing, It doesn't matter for nothing. When we die, we leave everything here, right? So guess what? Your kids might be taken care of, but my brother over here or my sister over here, let me see why they haven't gotten their kids involved in these things, right? Okay, so if you just do it by yourself, it's gonna be heavy. But if we come together and we say, hey, we're gonna do this, instead of you giving $100, now you could give $20. And guess what? With 20, 30, or 40 other people, a few kids' lives can literally be impacted in a way to where instead of going left, they can go right. Right? But it's not just for us. They have engineering camps in the summertime for these kids. Coding used to be a big thing, but AI is killing that. So you don't want to waste your time really with that anymore. But it's not just sports where you can keep them busy. Figure out what they want to do. I heard her saying earlier, everybody's child isn't going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. Seriously, I'm a welder. And it only takes 9 months for you to go to trade school to become a welder. So if you can make 6 figures welding, plumbing, electrical work, they make great money. Right? And that's something I'm trying to get the kids to understand too. The cheat code is we have a Habesha community. So if you do roofing and you did a good job on my roof, the next time any how to shop person needs a roof, they're gonna call you now. Same thing with plumbing, electrical, remodeling, right? So there's a jump start for them. Encourage them because they might not want to do what you want them to do. But as long as they want to do something positive, okay, cool. It's not what I had envisioned for you, but if you're sure this is what you want to do, this is what I need from you. They want to do something, make them earn it. Don't just give it to them freely either. Let them know. It can be as simple as cleaning up their rooms, fixing their bed every day. I read a lot of self-help books and a lot of successful people, they say, if you cannot make your bed up in the morning, how can you handle anything else, right? Like, how can you run a Fortune 500 company or be a CEO or be a financial advisor? You can't even make up your own bed where you lay your head at, right? So teach them the little things in discipline growing up. It will become normal to them. They won't realize that they're doing something a lot of people don't do. But it was still disciplining them, right? And when they're a child, this is all I can expect you to do. But once you start hitting junior high and high school, hey man, we gotta worry about SATs, right? You want to go to college, we need to make sure, you go to a decent college. But we need A's and B's to take advantage of these Hope scholarships as well too, right? So you have to map it out. You have to expose these things to them because a lot of times they don't know. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope it helps you, but please communicate with them, establish a rapport with them. Go to the park. Go. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's okay. Go walk with them. Don't take no for an answer. Have dinner a few times, couple of times, a week, right? Talk, man. How was your day? How's school? No, don't accept just a quick answer. Dive in more, right? Because a lot of times they're not just going to volunteer a lot of stuff to you or think it a habit, figure out what they enjoyed, pour into them because that can be the difference, and one child, I'm telling you, it affects the rest of the group too, so it's even if you see your friend's child, be respectful, but ask, what's going on? How can we help? Okay, matter of fact, we're taking the kids to Six Flags next week. Can we take them with us? Take them. Spend a little extra money. But that little bit of time, that little bit of effort, can be the difference between what he's doing this weekend by himself when all his friends are at Six Flags now, and he's by himself. He's going to be in the neighborhood looking at somebody else now. And then what? Right? So
Thank you so much. Thanks.